Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tavern. It's just me so far tonight.
Howdy.
Steve, I can't hear you at all. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so you can hear me at least.
Hold on.
We'll see if that works.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, I just upped the mic. I'm going off my headset.
Yeah, I did my headset, and so
yeah,
fun night already.
All right, fun night. So
this is going to be a good show.
I'm pretty excited about it.
So it's going to be a fun night. You're already popping up the $20.
No, I'm trying to add the rest of the stuff back in.
Okay.
That was it.
Well, we're live, so you can show the people how we're working. So it's a fun night already. Tonight on the Tavern, welcome. I got my Bluffton whiskey tonight from Burnt Church in Bluffton, South Carolina.
Burnt Church makes a good old fashioned. I'll just say that.
They did. We had a few old fashions there that night.
Yeah, we did. They make a good old fashioned.
So yeah, we sat outside there. It's a good little brewery. What do you got tonight?
Old fashioned. Funny enough.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, no, I got old fashioned tonight. So we're it's gonna be a busy week. I'm excited about tonight's show. I don't know about you, but I am really excited for tonight's show.
I'm stoked for tonight's show. I mean, I still have the Memorial Day background up here. But I am super stoked for tonight's show because I feel this sets off a few weeks of fun events here.
Correct.
We had our Father's Day gift guide show.
Yep.
We now have
which, by the way, if any of you missed and you're looking for a gift for Dad, or you need to tell Mom what to get Dad, you need to go and find our after party, which is a Father's Day gift guide we did. Got some great products on there, and you definitely need to check it out.
100%. Go check that out.
Sorry for the shameless plug, but I had to do it.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's not a shameless plug. It's our show. We can plug whatever we want on here.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to set off a great week because we got the RBC Canadian Open that leads into the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And then tonight, we have a company that was featured on the major winner from the PGA Championship on here.
They're the Golf Digest rated. I think it's like 1,000 years in a row at this point now. #1 leather head cover manufacturer. And no shameless plugs at all. I mean, I might we'll put that up there. Oh, wait, yeah, Dormie Workshop's joining us tonight. What?
They make some great stuff, and we got them on here tonight, and they're going to be some fun guys to talk to tonight.
Not only will there be some fun conversation tonight, there are going to be a couple of cheap shots thrown. I have a funny feeling by these guys because not only are they great people, I get to call them some good friends of mine. So there'll be some cheap shots, and there might be a couple zingers along the way with this one tonight. So pretty excited about that. So, but yeah, no. Let's talk Memorial. And
let's talk Memorial.
And I don't know where to begin.
This whole week of golf this whole weekend was unbelievable. I
mean, we're going to get to it, and let's talk the LPGA Tour too. We're going to get to that. Rose Zhang winning the first female since 1951 to win in her debut on the LPGA Tour. And you know what? I don't know that she can even. I don't think she's even old enough to drink, but I'm going to raise a glass.
Cheers to that.
That was a hell of a performance. Here's someone who won the Augusta Women's Amateur this year. She won the NCAA tournament, and then she won. Now she wins in her first event on the LPGA Tour.
Professional event.
But yeah. You know, what's up, Lee? Oh, and by the way, I know we teased it. We're going to see Lee later on in the show today too, because he's going to be with us for last call today. So it's going to be fun. So
this is going to be a fun show tonight. We got the two of us on here tonight. Our third partner in crime has some other stuff to take care of tonight, but he might join us later as well. So
yeah, no. So, but no, like when we look at Memorial, and obviously, you know, the idea of walking off the 18th green and getting to shake hands with Mr. Nicklaus and you know, having those conversations with him kind of there are very few events that you can have this with, and I honestly believe that as time goes on with the Genesis, you will see Tiger do this very same thing for the winner. But I think yes, correct. When he's not playing in it anymore.
Also his other event too, the Hero World Challenge, like that's run by him as well. So,
but no, I think that there's it's funny listening to Scotty Scheffler. I want to obviously Denny McCarthy played great this week. He's kind of back. Kudos to Victor Hovland. We won't comment on Dave getting another freaking win out here on the Golfing Desk Tavern.
He still didn't caught me though, so I'm fine with that.
But I think I think when you look at the week, Nicholas said it. Scotty Scheffler made the cut. Was it on the number or just inside of it? It wasn't like he was right around even par. And then Nicholas said he's going to get a top 10 this week. Don't you worry. And he ended up getting a top 10. He
got third. Not top 10. He got third by himself.
Right. So, the playoff, I actually felt bad for Denny McCarthy in the playoff. Partly because I feel like he hit it good enough. He played steady golf on Sunday, which is what you have to do around that golf course. It's not an easy golf course, as we've all seen. I think he got one bad lie on 18 coming in on Sunday, and it cost him his only bogey of the day, and then didn't hit a great drive in the playoff, and that really cost him what was the tournament. Hit a great putt, it didn't go in. Like, that putt did everything but go to the bottom of the hole. So I feel like there was the golf course, to me, Nicholas talked about it being firm, fast, and fair, and I think that is when you look at on Saturday, Keegan Bradley shot 65. He was the only player to shoot 65. He shot the low round of the day and worked himself way back up the leaderboard. Great for him. I do think that there's a ability for these guys. The golf course is set up so that you can go low. I'm not going to give it the go low ability of a place like Augusta National, but when you look around that golf course, it's kind of set up like Augusta National with rough. That's really what it's set up as.
Well, and it's also set up. We've talked about this for weeks. We've had some of those events that are birdie fests and are out there, and then we have these. I feel a lot of the designated events have been that in between of a birdie fest and the U.S. Open of what we're going into.
Correct.
In 2 weeks.
Bay Hill was very similar. Bay Hill was very similar.
RBC was even
and
even
RBC didn't have the rough. They don't have the rough at RBC. The thing with RBC is you're playing in a bowling alley. Really, what you're playing.
It's a shot maker's course.
It's a shot maker's course. I mean, we've played it. I mean, standing on the first tee, and you and I played it further back than Dave and your dad did. But standing there on that tee box on one, and you're like, where do I hit it? Because the trees look like
you got to hit it.
Like there's it looks like you got like this much space to land it in out there.
Because if you hit it down the left side, you're blocked by those trees to the green, and you have to have kind of a fade and get into that part of the fairway there. So, but that's with this event this week, it's one of those things that made this designated event what they're supposed to be, and it's that the best in the field, the best of the year are out there playing. It's not a major, but it's like a baby major is kind of what these designated events are. And you look at this leaderboard, you got Victor Hovland, you got your majors, you got Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Rory, you even have Ricky up here. You have Matt Fitzpatrick in the top 10.
Yep.
And it's an amazing top 10. And then you have people like Denny that's up there and making a name and almost won it, finished tied for first, and then lost in the playoff. It had the drama.
And I'm gonna say this: Denny wearing red Vanley, which is this Dormie shirt that I'm wearing is actually red Vanley, clothing brand. And so, I think that there's really a when you look. So here's the question that I have: next year, when you go to these designated events, you have this. The question is, when you cut the field, would Denny McCarthy even be in the field next year?
And a lot of players are saying this, and this has been a big topic, and I think it'll change. I do think they're not gonna stick with what they said.
Well, and the interesting comments that came out this week, John Rahm said the more he's thought about it, the more he thinks there needs to be a cut. Jack and Tiger have both said they want cuts at their events.
Yep.
And then you look at, and I texted you last week. There was it was Monday or Tuesday night on the Golf Channel, and they were talking about this topic. And what's his name? Brent Snedeker was asked about it, and he was like, "Listen, if I'm playing bad, I don't want to be here on the weekend, and nobody wants to watch me if I'm playing bad. Like, there's no reason for me to play 4 rounds. Give me 2 and get me out of here. Yeah, the paycheck's nice, but I don't want to play 4 rounds if I'm playing bad." So I really wonder if the tour is going to take a longer, harder look at the idea that, I feel like Rory has been the vocal point of the no cut events. In his argument, his defense has been, listen, if people pay to see Jordan Spieth, they want to be able to see Jordan Spieth, and they want to see him. If they have tickets for Saturday or Sunday and they don't get to see him, they're disappointed. And I understand that logic. Yeah. I just feel that personally, again, if you talk about the competitive nature of it, and when you have, I think we're going to see how influential are Tiger and Jack right now still on the PGA Tour. I think that's what we're going to see going forward. And if they have the influence and they have the ear of everybody, and again, Tiger still is the needle. Like, he doesn't move the needle.
100%.
He is the needle. I've said this long before tonight on the blog and everything else. Tiger's the needle. I feel like if you look at what they're getting out of whether it's Tiger and Jack or even John Rahm, at some point, I do think that there's going to be something that comes of this, and they say to them, you know what, hey, listen, we need to go to cuts in these events. Even if they do a year of no cuts, I think they're going to realize, hey, we need to have some cuts.
And I feel like their no cut thing is a knee-jerk reaction to Liv, where Liv came out and started as no cuts, so that's fine. That's actually one thing I think Liv did right, is they've stuck with that, and that's they keep a short number of players, which sucks because if you get kicked out, you're out. But with this, if you're truly, when I go to a golf event and I go to the RBC Heritage each year, we were at the Masters this year. Like, when you go to these events,
I go to Bay Hill. Yeah,
you go to Bay Hill. I used to go to Bay Hill each year too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you go to these events, you want to see on Saturday and Sunday, I want to watch who's playing their best. Yes, when I go, I do want to see these Jordans. I do want to see Scotty. I do want to see Ricky. But to be honest, if they're not playing well, I want to see those people. Like, I want to see the Michael Blocks. I want to see those people that are going to be that story that are playing out of their shoes.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this. Memorial this week, Denny gets in the playoff, right?
Yeah.
Kurt Kitayama wins at Bay Hill.
Yep.
So when you talk about if Denny had won at Memorial, Kurt won at Bay Hill, Matthew Fitzpatrick, yes, won at RBC. You do have the U.S. Open, and then after the U.S. Open, we have Hartford, which is another elevated event, which is surprising that I do think that a lot of guys are going to take. I mean, Rory being defending champion is playing this week, and I get it. He's the defending champion, but I feel like this is a spot for the Canadian Open that's going to get overlooked because you're going to have a elevated event, RBC, the Canadian Open, the U.S. Open, elevated event. So where are you going to miss if you're the two? Like, what events are you going to miss on? Is going to be the Canadian Open, unfortunately. I do think, and this is my personal opinion, I think the Canadian Open should be an elevated event. And I think if they had a different sponsor than RBC, who already has the heritage, that the Canadian Open would be an elevated event.
Yeah, that's true. Especially, it's been a good event over the past few years. I think it's been an exciting event more than some of these non-elevated events have been. I feel this has been one that, you're right, has earned the probably option to be an elevated event.
Yep.
So, and it's an open. It's the Canadian Open. It's just like with the U.S. Open in the following week. So it's just like in Scotland, they play the Scottish Open just before the British Open. So, or the Open for the purists.
Yep.
But I'm only saying the British Open just to make that point between Scottish and British. But it's those kind of events are fun because they lead into it. And I do like when players that are playing in the US Open, playing these events leading into it and kind of get that warm up, get that competitive edge. But you're right. If you're doing these designated events, they almost need to rethink the schedule of the designated events in a sense of they're right after majors a lot of times, they're right before majors. Like it makes it hard, especially when you get into this time of year, that you really go month to month. There's a major, and then you're playing events, so you're not getting a lot of that time off. So it's tough. And I think they can figure it out, but these are things that they need to work on with that. But leading into that, let's talk about the Canadian Open and what's coming up, who we're picking here. Dave at the Memorial got the win for his third time. I don't know where he's getting these picks from.
Yeah, the text message I sent him is not appropriate for children, so I'll leave it. I'll leave that on the table here. It was completely inappropriate. So
he gets his third win. I get my first missed cut, and it really closes the gap that I had. On here.
So we're all kind of tightened up on there now. So yeah.
But this week, Dave's taken the reigning champ of the Canadian Open.
The defending champ. Dave's pick is the defending champ and the favorite, and that's Rory McIlroy. Greg, who's your pick this week?
I'm taking Sam Burns this week.
Okay.
I think he's been playing well. I think this could be a good course to set up for him. I think that he has one win on tour in the match play this year. So I think this could be a good setup for him, especially leading into what's coming in the next few weeks. So I'm going with him this week. So Steve, who are you going with?
I am, I looked at a couple guys. I really like Ben Griffin. I feel like he's a top 20 machine. But I feel like in my position that I am in, I have to really, I have to really pick somebody that I think is going to get me up there in points this week. And I'm going to go and pick somebody that is going to get me the RBC sweep.
Oh, going with a little Fitzpatrick?
I am going with little Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
there we RBC sweep. I decided I did like Ben Griffin. I liked a couple other guys this week. I really do. I think this golf course sets up for a lot of good players. I will say this. I'm going to throw this out there. I do think the Canadian Open is the site of Tiger Woods' greatest golf shot he's ever hit.
Okay.
And that would be the 6-iron out of the bunker over the water from like 210 yards. That was like he hit it and like had no business getting it there and knocked it to the back fringe. I do think that's one of the greatest golf shots I've ever seen anybody hit.
No one has business hitting a 6-iron 210 yards from the fairway, let alone out of a bunker over water. Like, come on,
right?
But I like your pick there of going with the sweep of the RBC. So now I'm gonna have to like almost root for you in that one.
Yeah.
So and now I have to, and I hate that Dave's pick because now I got to root against Roars, even though I like Roars and want Roars to win. So I don't want Dave to get 2 in a row. Then he's gonna get too cocky.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. I'm kind of stalling. I'm gonna be honest. Todd from Dormie is texting me right now. I know Jeff is here waiting for us. Todd's computer. Jeff's setting up like the wall of like.
I know he's got a wall of head covers that we can see, and but we haven't put them on yet. I like that. He should build a whole fort of head covers. That's what happened. Jeff, you should build a whole fort of head covers right there.
But no, we I do think that this event, I always like this event. I always think it's a great event. And I think it's got some I think if you win, you think back to who's I think it's 2 players that have only won the US Open, the British Open, and the Canadian Open the same year.
What is that, the continent major?
It's and it's Jack and Tiger. I think are the only two players that have won all three. I really feel like that is one of
The
those
Open Grand Slam.
The Open Grand Slam, yes, the Open Slam.
Yeah.
So I feel like that there's a I think that it's a cool event. I'm excited. I know. I'm hoping that Todd can get on because I believe Todd is actually there and going this week. So it would be nice to ask him some questions about that. But yeah, no, it's a cool event. I think let's get Jeff in, and we'll start with that.
Yeah, let's get into happy hour.
Let's get into happy hour then.
All right.
So I know we've been talking about it, and here comes the wall of head covers.
There it is.
Mr. Jeff Bishop.
Got the Vegas Knights.
He does have the Vegas Knights. You have a 1 over. Hold on. Why? I don't know that I
guys. I hang around with winners. All right.
You hang around with winners.
No.
That's why you're on this show. There we go.
So
that's why
Jeff,
Dave's not here.
I know Todd and I are texting. Is Alex hanging out there with you? Can he come on too, or is he not with you tonight?
He's not here tonight. No. But yeah, you got the two of us. I don't know. Did you extend him the invite?
I did. His computer's giving him a problem. So
wow.
He texted me a screenshot. So his computer's giving him a problem. So
this Todd or Alex?
Todd. And then
yeah.
I had copied Alex on the email just because I sent it, and if he was around, always nice to talk to all three of you guys. So.
Well, Jeff, I like your hat, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, you too, man. I was saying that is beautiful.
I went with the idea of the Dormie Strixon PGA winning combination tonight for you guys. So
that's a good call as well. I mean, you got to support the Strixon crew.
So it's funny. Hold on.
Look at that. There we go.
There's
the cover scene around the world right there.
It was. I felt like I was watching. What was it with? What's his name? Now I'm blanking on his name from the movies. In Titanic.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're all blanking on his name. Why is
he's like only one of the most famous actors.
Most famous actors. Where he's like,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
DiCaprio.
Leo.
There we go.
When he does that, and that's when I was watching that live. That's exactly what I did when I saw your logo on there.
But we got a lot of comments on that one, and it was cool. It kind of seemed like they were just doing a broadcast of Dormie head covers.
I mean,
nothing wrong with that.
And I'm going to say this, and you know this, Jeff. We've known each other since what was your first year at the PGA Show? 2014.
2016.
2016. So
yeah.
We've known each other since 2016. Literally, I met you guys when you were in your 10x10 booth at the PGA Show because I had found you online and had followed you because I loved your stuff. And I'm going to go back to my first original Dormie, my two original Dormie head covers, which were right after Luke was born, with their initials for my hybrids. And those have progressed, and I'm going to show this because they might be my two favorite head covers. To my lightsabers for Jackson and Luke with their names on the back. You guys have come so far since 2016, since we first met. And one of the things that I will say this is, while I think you guys do make the coolest stuff on the planet, I'm lucky enough to call you guys friends, and the fact that we text and we joke and we all know each other's families, and we get together when you guys come down here. And my goal, my wife and I want to get up to Halifax. So that is on our to-do list. So I want to get up and go play Cabot with you guys. But I feel like when you look at what you guys have done since 2016 to today and where you're going, the first thing I want to start with is congratulations on being on the Mag of a Major winner. I mean, how awesome.
Thank you, man. Cool. I mean, it's just look at that right there. There was so much going on in that major. You know,
Right.
there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much going on with, you know, Ken Brooks win again, Ken with the live stuff, with the PGA, with Dormie on the bag. I mean, it was, and you know, him just coming off the Masters like that. It was cool. It was a really cool experience. And Steve, I do hope that you make it up. And it's been a lot of fun knowing you over the years. And
Yeah.
again, and we've had some good times. A lot of competitive rounds.
Yep.
You know, we get to see all the trinkets that Steve is trying out.
That's always a good time. That's always a good time. Hey,
I don't know
let
how
me
the
ask-
front of those carts can hold all that stuff. That's
You know, that is a
whether
good question.
It tips
could go
over from time to
forward.
time.
Yeah.
Hey,
I will say though, from all of his trinkets, the one company he talks about more than anybody else are your head covers.
Wow.
And
Wow.
like he
Isn't that
absolutely loves your head covers. He talks about all the companies that we have on here, but I know and I mean I just have one and I need to get some more
Yeah.
on
I've
there,
got a
and this
stack
is
over there.
just fantastic.
And you know
Yeah,
what's
well,
funny
thank
is, Jeff, I'm going to say this. Dave's not with us tonight. He's the only one of us that doesn't have a Dormie head cover. So we're going to need to rectify that problem and get him one. But let me ask you, as we go back to, you know, the Dormie promotion show that the PGA Championship was, hold on, I'm going to put this up here. It's not unhealthy. It's
Bradley,
not unhealthy.
that is 100% true. 100% true. And Jeff, I'm happy to get to meet you tonight, and hoping that we get to play golf sometime.
I'm sure we will
in the near future.
Yeah. Are you down in Orlando as well?
Used to be. Now I'm in Indiana. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
I'm closer to Canada than Steve is. So.
That's true.
A little bit closer. Yeah.
Hey Jeff, let me ask you really quick. Do you remember the first time you guys saw a Dormie logo on a PGA Tour bag, and what was that feeling like?
Graham Dillette.
Graham Dillette. Okay. Yep. Was it the Graham Dillette head cover with the beard?
It was a little before that. He went to Boise State.
Okay.
And he's a big. I think they're the Broncos.
Smurf turf.
Yeah, Blue Broncos. And that's
turf.
right. Yeah. And we met him. He came to Canada there was something going on. It was the Nova Scotia Open. I'm pretty sure that was it. And he was hanging around that, and we got introduced to him, and we made some stuff. And you know, it's unfortunate for him because he was having he was such a great player, like, you know, always known, similar to Corey Connors as a ball striker. You know, just hit him. It's just pure all the time and relentless. And if his putter was hot, he was in contention. And he is such a nice guy that you're always kind of in his corner hoping for him. But that was really the first time, and it was so cool. I mean, we're like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? You know, I actually went down. We do some work with a company who's based out of Muirfield Village, where the memorial was. And I was down there, and I went and we walked around with Graham for that event. So it was cool, and that was when he was playing, and yeah. So it's unfortunately he had those back issues, and you know, has moved on from golf. You know.
No. Yeah. So one of the questions.
Number one.
If you're ever down in Ohio by Muirfield again, I'm only 3 hours from there, and you want to play golf, let me know.
I'd love to. Yeah, I was supposed to. I'm registered right now to qualify for the U.S. Mid-Am or the U.S. Am. Sorry,
nice
qualifier site there. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. But if I do, I'll be getting your number from Steve.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
yeah.
So Jeff, let's go back to the beginning of Dormie, and we ask all of our guests this. So tell us about, and I know your background a little bit more than a lot of other people do. We have a few friends in common that you used to caddy with, actually. And so tell us how Dormie got started, and where the idea came from.
You know, Todd and I moved back home. Todd had come home a year before I did, and we had been both trying to play, and he had joined the PGA, and it was kind of a way not to enter necessarily as a golf pro in a pro shop. And it was a way to still keep playing, but be able to teach. And seemed like a cool gig, and you're still able to be kind of free and independent, and which is, kind of the core of what we've done over the years. Todd was, I don't know if you knew this or if he'd ever told you, but he was a ski instructor for 6 years.
Yeah, I knew that. Yep.
Yeah. And younger brother Alex was as well. And we gone to Australia and been in Whistler and Banff and surfed and skied and snowboarded. And I've heard the term, traveling gypsies, thrown around a little bit. I wouldn't say we were gypsies, but we certainly like to travel, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And when we came back home, it was like, what are the opportunities? We love design, and I'll tell you a story, which I think I've told you, Steve, but I will say it again. And it was just because it's a cool one. We were down in Florida. Todd was hacking it out, trying to play. And we were like, we had a place that was a block from the beach. We had a ping pong table in our driveway, lots of beer in the fridge. And we'd have these games out there, and we're surfing. We were wearing Quicksilver and built.
Hold on really quick. Greg,
Yeah,
that sounds like your old place in Celebration with a ping pong table in the garage.
No, it was on the patio. We did that was our frat house that Dave and I created when we
nice.
Celebration.
The problem when you leave those ping pong tables outside in Florida, they turn like this.
Oh, it did.
You could almost rally with yourself.
We had to turn it back over and weigh it down. By the way, it was a beer pong table that was just a piece of plywood.
Fair.
That we had the rule that everyone that came to visit had to sign it. So
yeah,
it was
nice.
That's what that was. But yeah, those are always the funnest houses to have. So
yeah,
100%.
And so we had this in the yard, and we were surfing, and we were wearing Billabong and Quicksilver as our polos, and surf, same thing with our shorts, Volcom, all the brands. And we were like, oh man, it'd be so cool if we started a surf inspired golf wear company. And I was like, oh, this is genius. And Todd had a Volkswagen van, and we were really living it up, right?
You're living the stereotype right there.
Totally living the stereotype. So we go to the PGA show, and I think this was 2000, and I feel like it was 2008. It may have been early. It might have been 2007. I could be a little off my timing here, but we turn around the corner, and there's a Volkswagen van, surfboards on top, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing van. I mean, it was like pimped out, exactly the way we would have done it. We turn around the corner, we walk into the booth. There's a ping pong table, and I'm like, hold on here. And there's a beer keg beside that.
I think I know who's that.
Oh yeah, surf inspired golf wear. And I'm like, who are these guys? Travis Matthew.
Yeah, that's exactly. I knew it.
There was alcohol involved at the PGA show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh man. So we were like, oh man, friggin' someone.
I remember that booth.
Yeah, it was incredible, and it was one of their. If it wasn't their first year, it was their second year, and it was just this incredible. And we became Travis Matthew fans, and we were like, someone got to it before us, but our idea wasn't half horrible, and so we kind of started dabbling with some stuff. We did golf ball markers that helped you line your putt up. That was the thing. Lined up golf. We had that for 5 years, and then didn't really materialize in anything that we could, make a living off of. And we were still looking to do something creative. And head covers, we were like, we love leather. I've been looking for some head covers, and brought the opportunity to Todd, and he was like, "No way, let's invest in our golf teaching business." And I said, "Nah, we'll do head covers." And here we are.
I've seen these conversations happen on the golf course. That's why I'm laughing at this.
Generally I'm the more reasonable one, and we ended up doing it. We started with some samples, and we were found a woman on the equivalent of Craigslist to the US. It's called Kijiji up here. And
Canadians Craigslist is called Kijiji.
Kijiji. Yeah. Who came up with these names?
I know.
And why? You know, like I remember, you know, actually this time because I was like, when I was in the US for a while, MySpace was big.
Yeah.
And what was going exploding up in Canada was Facebook all over the universities. And everybody in the US is like, no. MySpace is where it's at. And I always thought Facebook was Canadian for the first few years.
I think Zuckerberg might have something to say about that.
Say that. So yeah, that's how it all began. We started with a woman. Her name was Trish, and her email when she wrote me back was thedragonlady@hotmail.com. And
funny enough, my wife still has a Hotmail account, and I make fun of her for it.
Oh
my
yeah,
wife and my brother-in-law still have Hotmail accounts, and I make fun of them for it all the time because who has a Hotmail account anymore? Come on.
Hey, my wife has an AOL account still.
Ooh,
so
that's the last frontier right there.
If she still uses like instant messenger on AOL, then I'm impressed. Like that's like
No,
I don't know who she's talking to, but
yeah, Greg, my wife, my wife, Greg. She's not even on social media. So in fact, Jeff knows my wife too. So like, she's not even anywhere on social media. Like every time I see a full Dormie head cover, I have to screenshot it and send it to her.
Do you guys still dial up? Is this dial up here?
Steve does have dial up. You'll see he'll lag a bunch in the show, and that's because the dial up. His kid picks up the phone, and then he's cut off. So
oh my gosh, my goodness.
So Jeff, I mean, you've talked about. I mean, you got the Dragon Lady. So I mean, that's awesome with the name there. But like, I got one of your head covers here, and I mean, I will just say, for a head cover, the feel of this head cover, like this head cover has been on my driver, been out in like a torrential hurricane almost on the golf course in Florida.
Sure.
And your leather is different than other products out there. And I feel like the more I use this, it's like, and this is going to lead into another question. It's like an old baseball mitt. Like it doesn't crack. It feels better with time. It like, so what is the Dormie difference in your leather? Like, how do you do? Like, it's unbelievable.
We have really good suppliers, and then you know, like, what's funny because like everybody has the option to use a full grain or top grain leather, and not everybody chooses to use that. So like, you know, leather qualities are different, and you know, for like the shortest PK lesson in leather I could ever give is like, as it relates to leather, full grain leather is the kind of gold standard, and it has the tightest weave. So it's the strongest of all the leathers. That's why you generally you would never see cracking. You can cut them and but they won't further tear. So it's not like a ripstop. I mean, there's no ripstop technology. You know, a famous thing about leather is it's nature's oldest technical fabric. So you know, it does allow for humidity to go in and out, so it can allow moisture in and out. It can breathe, and that's part of its longevity and the magic to leather, where synthetics won't allow that to happen. And you know, like, listen, there's a space for all, and I certainly love the smell of leather. I like the way that it performs. It molds. It's still a living item. You know, like there's and you know what? Not all of our leathers perform the same way. And they're not supposed to. And that's kind of the hardest thing, because like some of our leather we say is guaranteed to fade, right? That's how it's supposed to perform. And then you can rejuvenate it with oil. And you know, like you think back when people actually used to wear shoes a lot, and you put shoe polish on and you buff the shoes, and they would get better over time, and like they would wear in, and you'd see the marks and like the old baseball gloves, and add the oil inside. And you know, that's the beauty of leather. Like you get it to a point where it was stiff and rigid, and then it becomes like soft and malleable, and this thing that you're like, wow, there's so much history in this product. And being new isn't necessarily beautiful, and that's the best part of leather. You know,
I mean, that's unbelievable, because like the leather you put together on these, you make a quality product. Like we
Yeah,
joked
thank
about
you.
how Steve is in love with like your products, and like he has
Yeah.
the collection back there.
I'll
Like,
admit it. Yeah, I mean,
and I need
collection,
to
so.
get more. I mean, I drew a mock-up of a design that I want, and I'll send that to you later off the show from my alma mater of my university. But
Oh, cool. All right.
the mock-up, I mean, the leather that you put together and these things, it's like that old baseball mitt. It's like that like shoe that you slide right into.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Greg, there's that one too.
What are you, Division 3? Come on. Let's get to D1 here. Let's get the heavy hitters in here, buddy.
We are the smallest Division 1 school in the country, okay? Artist Gilmore, baby. Artist Gilmore. We got
Do you even have a football team? Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
We have one of the best hockey teams in the country. We have one of the best lacrosse teams. We have the best. I went to Penn State University, so that's I'm a Nittany Lion. So
that's the top of the food pool there. I mean, that is
So we but your products are just great, and it's one of those things. I think, like, I always tell people, when you pay for something, you get value out of it. I feel like with your products, you get such value out of it. So like when you started to where you are today, like, how have you grown to become the Golf Digest best rated head cover in like 25 years in a row? You've created this amazing product. I mean, not 25 years. We said 20. If you do the math from where we were, it's not 25 years, but
it's close. It's divide by 4 and you get there.
But like, I've walked into here in Indiana, I've walked into Golf Galaxy and I've seen your head covers. I've walked into Dick's Sporting Goods and I've seen your head covers. And I mean, Steve, like I said, doesn't shut up about your head covers, but it's because you make such a great product. So how has that been from like coming up with a surf product and like being inspired by like that Travis Matthews to where you are today on having a major winner being on their bag at the PGA Championship? What has that been like?
Incredible. Yeah. It didn't, happen overnight. It was, Todd and I were cutting. We used to go in after we teach all day. We cut leather and prep it how we wanted to have it for the sewers in the morning. We'd start at 6 o'clock at night and work till, sometimes it was 12, sometimes it was 3 in the morning, and then we'd, clock out for the night and leave it there and come back the next day and be like, what has anything happened? Have they put them together? And sometimes it wouldn't happen for a week, and we're like, come on, we need to get these done. And we were certainly more maybe frantic at the beginning. I'd say where we started and where we are now is so different. And like, we didn't have all the tools that we have now, and we didn't own production at the beginning. And each time we'd hit a block, we'd ask ourselves the question, like, what is the block? Is it people? Is it product? Is it capacity, willingness? Is it partnerships? What is it? And each time we'd find a way. When one thing blocked up, another stream would open. And you got some breaks along the way. And I think there's a last thing someone said it to me the other day. We were in Las Vegas. Alex and I were in Las Vegas, playing with a guy named Sheldon Surrey, who used to play in the NHL, and just an amazing guy, like 6'4", 250 pounds.
I know who he is. I'm a big hockey fan, so
he's one of the most gentle, nice guys you'll ever meet. And on the ice was just a wrecking ball, and with one of the hardest slap shots. But he said to me, he was like, the lost art of being nice to people, and it really resonated with me, because we try and be nice to everybody and all the time. And there we go, looking at the Blackhawks cover. Yeah, well, it's a good one.
My wife's a Blackhawks fan, and I was at the Stanley Cup in Tampa when Tampa played the Blackhawks. So
no way.
I like this one better, though. I'm cutting you off there. I like this one better. Golfing Dad's Tavern head cover. So
I mean, I feel like that needs to get done. That might be
The
a talent.
fans want it.
But
The
They
fans
want it.
want it.
I love the logo. It really works well. You know.
I do want to throw this up there while you're talking.
Yeah.
Lee from Wedge FX is somebody that you guys know as well.
Yep.
The Doritos head cover that you did is awesome. He's actually doing some wedges for him as well right now, so he's excited to get the Dormie head covers and his wedges in there. So,
well, I feel like there's a trade coming up in our future. You know,
Lee is all about that, and I know that Lee. Actually, you know, what's funny is Jeff. Once we get off, Lee's gonna actually come in for our last segment and kind of do some.
Jeff, if you want to stay on for our last segment and just make a deal with
Yeah,
Lee,
sure.
we're fine with that too. So
yeah, sweet, no problem.
You know, and I want to hit on the idea of the NHL covers, and you know, you guys have done work for some of the biggest names in sports, whether it's your NHL deal that you've done some work with TaylorMade, as you and I both know. We've talked about that. You've got the Live deal that you've done some work with Live as well. Did you ever think, starting at this point, that you would be? I'm going to say this. I feel like you're like the coolest people on my phone. So did you ever think that you would get to the point of being this big?
Hold up, I'm in your phone too.
Yeah, well, they're no, I mean, I came and helped you out at the Live event, and
did you really help, or were you more of a hindrance, like just drooling
No, I
over
hope
their
not.
head covers?
He did it. He did a good job. He was back there grinding around.
Yeah,
I was expecting something else, though, Greg. I mean, I had to say, I thought he'd be going around. He'd be gone once he got there. But
I'm pretty sure he robbed you. I'm pretty sure he just like I'm pretty sure he was just like, I'm taking all this.
I did get this shirt there that day. I'm not gonna lie. I did.
That's how I got this hat. That's how I got this hat. I'm just saying. That's how I got this hat. So your inventory might be a little short. And also Lee and Bradley. I see where we are with Steve. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, even Lee.
Totally.
Wow, like everybody.
You guys don't make NHL head covers and head covers with the Stanley Cup on them, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you.
We don't. I will say it. I'm a big Devils fan, so
yeah.
But no,
we have a new Devils Primo coming out. That is.
You got a Christmas tree one? Because if you got a Christmas tree like Devils jersey, that's the head cover I want.
We don't. Is that I didn't
green
see that
and red?
One. Oh yeah.
Green so their old jersey, the green and red jersey.
Right. That'd be cool.
I made a mock up of that. I'll send you. I'm just making head covers just on my side. Just to
We love throwbacks. We got lots of Whalers stuff.
As someone who grew up 45 minutes from the mall, that's hilarious to me.
The whale.
The whale that played in the mall. But now, did you ever think when you started in 2016 that you would be, have the NHL deal and have all these other great, accomplishments at this point here in what is 2023?
I mean, I was one of the people that I watched The Secret. I did all the Eckhart Tolle books and I tried to manifest as much as possible. And I'd like to say, yes, I believe that we thought we were going to be here, but a lot of things that I've tried to manifest hadn't necessarily come true. So, it's really cool and humbling to think that we're getting work with all these cool brands and people are choosing us and recognizing us as quality and craftsmanship and good guys and fun to be around. And I think that that's a legacy that I'd want to be part of and be proud of. So I think sticking to our values and growing the company that how we wanted it to grow and not for someone else was really important. And so it's humbling and also super cool to be part of a business like this.
So and I sent you the questions in advance, and there was a good joke in there when I started this question with Canada A. And I went with the American stereotype there. But no, when you're in a place that, you think Halifax and you're yes, you're close to what is Cabot, and Cabot is amazing, but it's not really a golf-centric place like when you live down here in Florida. Did you ever think that you would grow this brand that is this big in Nova Scotia and Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada? And what has that been like in a place that is not as golf-centric as a place like where I live in Florida?
I didn't think we'd ever end up living here.
Okay.
I mean, we have a really close family and extended family, and but we all had the travel bug. Like if Australia was closer, I would live in Australia again in a heartbeat. It was incredible, and we love Florida, and we love Whistler, and all the fun things we like to do. And to your point, Steve, Nova Scotia shuts it down. All the stuff that we like to do, like it doesn't really snow here, and
hold on, we're adding a fourth member to this. Oh boy, there
we go.
What is this, between the ferns?
We're not as mean as Galifianakis.
Hey Todd, how are you?
Not bad. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah,
we can hear you. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, 45 minutes of trying to enter this chat room. It's just it's what
We're
you do
very
on Monday
popular.
night.
It's tough to get in. We have tough bouncers and standards here.
I ended up just shutting the computer off and on. It's kind of like you used to do with the Atari game back in 1983. You just unplug it and turn it back on, and boom.
Old Nintendo blowing the cartridge a little bit.
I actually blew into the microphone.
There. Oh, look at that wallet! Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow. Well played.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, we started this. I was the only one on here because Steve was having technical difficulties. So this show is just about having fun. So we're glad to have you on here, Todd.
I thought you were going to say the show is just about over.
No. We'll go for 2 hours tonight with you guys. We're having fun.
Okay. All right.
So no, I mean, Jeff, Jeff, that's a great answer. I do want to say this, and it's not something that is here. One of my favorite covers that you guys have ever done is a cover. You guys did a contest with Golf Galaxy, cover versus cover, on the Wilson spoof of Driver versus Driver, and I submitted a birdie train, bogey train head cover idea that didn't make the final cut. But you guys, for some reason, like this idea, and I don't know why. I mean, I think it was pretty good too myself, but I like this cover because it's reversible, and if you're playing good, you put that birdie train on there. But if you're playing bad, you put that steam engine on there and just have that bogey train on there, chugging all along. So
like
Steve has the bogey train on there most
even
of the time.
from Canada, I can see how faded that red leather is.
Wow,
It's so sun bleached.
That's the bogey. That's the bogey side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I do have this cover.
Don't play into his games like that, Steve.
I do have this cover that is this is my shout out to the 2 palm trees behind the 16th green at Sawgrass. And as someone who had been inside the ropes with the Players, wanted something to remember that, and that's where this cover, the idea. This is actually one of your.
You've never mentioned that you've been inside the ropes of the Players before, Steve.
Shut up.
We have a running bet every year on Facebook on what time he posts that he's been inside the ropes at the Players on Facebook. Like, is it the week before? Is it the week
But no, this cover is actually one of yours that we did kind of a custom move off of your stock covers on the website. So we're going to get to that question here in a little bit.
Yeah, you used the customizer. Yeah.
Yeah, I use the customizer. So that question is coming up.
Speaking of head covers, Steve seems to have a vast collection, but how many covers a year are you doing? Like, how many covers are you making in a year, and what's that production like?
It's grown every year. Right now we have a 10,000 square foot facility. There's about 60 team members. From marketing to sales to production, it's we're probably doing about between 1,500 and 2,000 a week. Yeah, So that's kind of where we're at. It's kind of a weird number because the amount of work that it takes, we could probably do 3 or 4 times that amount, but the amount of time and it takes to make something like this is just,
God,
you
that's
know,
beautiful.
yeah, thank you. And it's time, and there's 20 pieces and 30 pieces, and each one has to be layered. And so there's a cover that we made that's on the site. It's not technically for sale, but it's a Japanese samurai cover.
I've seen that on there.
Yeah, and that took one of our team guys, Sting, who's been with us since 2018, or 2017 or 2018, and it took him 2 weeks of like meticulous planning and execution to get this thing dialed in. So like the numbers get like thrown off wildly, and our poor production manager Ryan, he is, Matt, our one of our sales guys, has been with us for 5 years. Steve knows Matt. And,
I do know Matt.
Yeah, yeah, King of Cool Customs, and he will bring in.
Hold up.
Yeah.
2 weeks? Like I'm on
2
your
weeks.
website right now, and if anyone's like the website's scrolling across the bottom, if you go and you look up, just go to their homepage, scroll down, and custom make your own. That's 2 weeks seems like it. Like that's a master craftsman at work right there. Because that thing looks like it would take you months to make.
If it was,
there is another one right here.
Oh yeah, there is one other one. Yeah, it's in the corner there. And yeah,
that's an unbelievable head cover, by the way.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Look at, that's like the detail in that is phenomenal.
Basically, I could wear it, but it does.
You can wear that and be a samurai.
You can. The top, the helmet actually comes off, and you can remove it from that detaches, and you can wear it as a helmet.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, like he researched ancient Japanese weaving and the techniques that they used and how they layered it, and I mean, it's every little detail on that thing is fully thought through and executed perfectly. And yeah, so like something like that throws off your production times, to say the least.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe a little, just a little. And like I think if we were only about cash and having this crazy production schedule that is this ramrod straight, I think that we wouldn't be the business that we are and have as much fun. And it's important to do stuff like that to say, like, here's the talent of the people that are on our team. This is what we got. This is the firepower that lies beneath, and why we've been able to to kind of separate ourselves from the pack. So
I mean, and speaking of separating yourselves from the pack, so how did the licensing deal, like I'm a hockey fan, like I said, I'm a Devils fan, with the NHL come about? Like, and like, what are the other deals that you have in the works? Like, what's coming down the pipeline? Because like you guys make a quality product, and that's the important part, is you make such a, you put such
just before this answer comes out, Vegas is up 2-0 right now.
Boom.
Whoa. Wow. Nobody could have. I mean, everybody.
What is with these Florida teams in these championships? Like, what is with the Heat and the Panthers? Come on, man.
That's nuts, man. It's the year of Florida right now. I mean,
really
they got everything. Everybody's moving there. Business is booming. Hockey teams are winning.
DeSantos, is he going to
hockey in Florida? Come on.
Hey, Todd, do not go down the politics road. We do not go down politics.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing we don't talk about. We are anti-politics on this show. Okay,
we only talk golf politics between tours.
That's enough. That's plenty.
Yeah, that's all we need. But seriously, so the licensing deal, like that's a major thing, and you make like I said before, I want to see a Devils like Christmas tree type jersey, and Bradley wants to see his Blackhawks Blackhawks one on there. But how did that deal come about?
I can speak to the deal, and Todd can speak to what's in the pipeline.
Mhm.
I think that's probably a good solution here because, we got tons of stuff on the go, and the deal all started with we had. if the real roots of this deal started with a place up here called Modern Golf, and there was a gentleman, Justin. What's Justin's last name, Todd? Anyways, he introduced us to him, Jeff DeLine. And one night it was like midnight, and then Jeff, we had started down the road doing some Raptor stuff, and Jeff he worked for MLSE, which is Maple Leaf Sport and Entertainment Group, and they own Leafs, Raptors. They own the Toronto Argonauts, and the Toronto Football Club. And so big sports conglomerate up here. I mean, all the good teams in Toronto minus the Jays. And it was midnight, and I said, Todd, man, screw it. I'm just going to message Jeff. It had been a year and a half, and I'm like, we just got to take the bull by the horns and tell him we're going to make you some badass stuff. Send me your logos, and let's get this done. And he was like, let's see it. And the next thing it was Raptors, Leafs, and we kind of he got all the wheels going, all the wheels turning. We were doing stuff for players, we were doing stuff for the shop, we were doing limited release stuff. We had playoff gear, and he's like, listen, you can't sell on your site, we can't sell on our site. We had local licenses, but he was like, why don't I make an intro to head office and in the NHL, and he introduced us to a great guy, and we got the deal done in it was fast, Todd. I mean, it would have been 6 months maybe.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how the NHL got started, and hey, we've had it now at least 4 or 5 years, I feel like.
Yeah, we got the official one in 20, right when COVID hit.
20, okay.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, so
If you're looking for, if you're an NHL fan, hit up that website on the bottom that's scrolling there because they got some great NHL head covers down there.
And we have it set up kind of like, a pro jersey versus the general supporter jersey. So this is a general supporter cover. We have the next one up where you can go from $125 to $250, $300 real quick, and you can get the pro jersey, and it is a full applique miracle. These things are just beautiful, and craftsmanship is next level.
So Todd, we were talking about so you have the NHL deal. What other deals are in the works, if you can talk about them?
I mean, we're going with Ohio State. So
no, get off. Bye, Todd. Todd, you weren't on here before. I went to Penn State. No Ohio State talk on here. I'm sorry. Bye.
Big Nittany
Lion. Lion alum. Nope. Bye. It's over.
That's coming down.
We got Ohio State.
And we've had UConn for almost 2 years. And so it's fun to have a couple NCAA ones. And, we don't know we're guessing the Ohio one's going to be awesome, knowing how strong that alumni is. Then we've got one other major sports league that the application is in, and we're waiting to hear back on approval from, which we can't really speak to right now.
That's cool.
It is pretty relevant league, though, season wise. But there is 5 major leagues, I think, and there's a couple of them that are in regular season, a couple of them that are in maybe playoff mode. So, but nothing's official. I really don't know where it's going to land, but I think we're gonna have pretty good that it's going to go down. That's about you can only take so many of these on. What we learned from the NHL one is it's way more work than what we actually could have ever anticipated, especially knowing how challenging the arenas are to lock and load. We thought that was like an auto adoption. So we're like, man, this is going to be awesome. We're in, Golf Galaxy took it. Golf Town took them. All the major, box stores did. You'd think the trickle down would have been the opposite. It would be like all the arenas would take them automatically. And will the big box stores do it? We don't know. Well, it was the complete opposite. And trying to get a hold of these arena buyers and get it through their heads that, yeah, if you are in Vegas, the city that arguably has some of the most expensive golf on the planet, chances are the people that are going there would be able to afford a cover that's $100. But they just it's just like driving your head into a brick wall. So in the arenas, we're in a few in Canada, and in the US, it's unbelievable. I mean, we're still making this license work. It's still profitable, but it's very frustrating. And that's part of the challenges that we have just in dealing with really high-end leather golf covers, like people that don't play golf and they don't really understand it. It would have been it's like starting over again. We had these challenges 8 years ago, and I'm having the exact same conversations, even with business case models that prove their argument is flawed, saying nobody's going to buy these. We're like, well, if they didn't buy them 8 years ago, then why are we having this conversation now? And so, if there's any,
here's a good here's a good example for you.
You please, for the love of God, onboard us, because they're no brainer.
I mean, you guys aren't in business because Steve's buying all your head covers. So
yeah,
obviously people are buying your great head covers. Like, it's not just Steve.
A lot of like sports merch, you say, Steve's a big Red Sox fan, right?
Boo.
Well,
Slightly.
Boo.
Greg's a Yankee fan, by the way.
When you're looking to get Steve a present, you might not want to spend $125 on Steve, but you will potentially buy him a pair of socks. So that's why Stance just went out of control. I mean, why would anybody ever buy a $25 pair of socks?
We should have Dave on here, because Dave, I think, keeps Stance in business with the socks his wife buys for him. So
imagine being like, I can buy 4 pair of Stance socks or 1 leather head cover.
It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, you're like, there's no way I would pay the same price for a leather head cover as 4 pair of socks, because 4 pair of socks normally cost me $16. Oh, there we go. One show. Yeah. Man.
Can we talk?
Who has a better record and just beat the Dodgers last night? Yankees.
Yankees.
I was just guessing at Red Sox.
Yeah,
I've
no,
never seen him with that. I've never
you
seen
look at
any-
Steve and you're like, that guy looks like a jerk, so we're gonna go with Red Sox.
Totally. I was like, big Red Sox fan.
Like Steve's looking for some Red Sox gear right now.
Oh yeah, I can't find
I'm
any
looking
within
to
our.
see what I have.
We don't have the MLB license, obviously. Otherwise, I'm sure there would be some Red Sox gear.
I would have Red Sox cover at this point. Yes, you're right.
Oh dear God!
I do have this glove that's kind of baseball glove leather. We had this conversation. Might have this Hack of the Week logo on it. But yeah, no. Actually, you know what? Here it is. This is my yardage book. My alignment stick
there's
cover.
his dial-up network.
My alignment stick cover has the kids' names in Red Sox font on it.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So.
So we've talked about this. You guys do like some pretty amazing head covers, but you have the NHL, you have some other stuff, but you also have some amazing courses out there, like Stream Song, St. Andrews. Like, you got some good stuff out there. That's like, you talk about like being in arenas, being in different things like that. And my wife works in the NBA, so I know what that's like, trying to get all that stuff into those areas. But you are a golf brand, and you make these amazing head covers, and that samurai head cover I kind of want. Like, that's awesome, but I don't want it to be on my golf bag. I just kind of want it because it's awesome.
You might not want the price tag as well, but
I know that. I got that too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the price tag is worth what I'm paying for there. Like, if I'm paying for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But with that, like St. Andrews, come on, man, that's the home of golf. What's that like?
mean, that is, I mean, for me, I would say that's Mount Everest. All the
Yes.
other pro shops, they just don't have that tie to the history, and that is the greatest honor, is to be able to be part of that and know that it's in the shop. And when I'm a piece of dust and floating in the wind, my son can say, yeah, you know what? Somehow my dad and his brother and my uncles figured it out. I don't know how, but they sold to St. Andrews. And, that to me is like, whew, that's it. From there, we can really like start to, it's almost like, okay, the head covers have maxed out. Like, I don't know, unless they build a course on Mars, I'm okay with where we've hit. So now let's start to have some fun in some other products. And that's kind of what we're looking at. We're still going to continue to, like, the Holy Grail, we found it. So how do we turn this Holy Grail into even greater head covers to service all kinds of other cool courses? We'll never stop that. But now we're going to get into some new avenues, and Dormie's going to move a little bit laterally.
I'm just going back to this comment. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
We're the internet of St. Andrews, so no. But that's awesome. Like I've actually.
Somebody's asked.
I know my buddy Eric. He lives out at Pinehurst, and I would love to see a Pinehurst one because I go play there all the time. I have played St. Andrews, unfortunately, before you have been in St. Andrews, but yeah, a Pinehurst.
We haven't cracked that code yet. Some have codes that are harder to crack. St. Andrews was hard to crack. We're about to make a little push into the Carolinas again. When we first had started the business, Stitch was a big, Carolina brand.
They are.
So they kind of, it's pretty hard not to buy from them if you're in the Carolinas. And if you were, so that was kind of our block originally, but we're ready to head back in. So Eric, we will be in Pinehurst soon. I will say that. Yep. We're coming.
All right. So your tagline has been custom since day one. It's one of my favorite taglines about you guys because I love the custom idea. If we were to look at and say, if somebody was watching tonight and says, you know what, I want to order a custom cover, what's that process look like for them?
We've got an internal sales team now that's, we've been building upon and hiring within. So we've kind of like we call it the JV role, junior varsity kind of guy. They will take over most of the custom process, and then they'll work in that role for, could be 8 months to a year and a half, and then they progress into corporate stuff. But that process, though, is you're working one-on-one with a guy who's going to be the conduit between the designer and Steve or Greg. And so you're going to give them either a photo that you want to work with or some other inspirational idea. And then design's going to come up with some mock-ups, and they'll just send them back to you until we kind of find a range where you're happy with the product that you see. But in terms of like the amount of digital mock-ups that you get, it's not endless, and the designer's time is expensive. Our sales guy still needs to get paid. So there's a lot of, people like, oh, why is it so expensive? And it's like, well, there's a lot of like labor. We haven't even talked about the production. So
right
before we even get it through there, you're not going to, like, our designers have all gone to really high-end art schools and have studied digital, graphic work. And those, digital graphic artists go out and try to hire one of those guys for a couple hours to do a design for your home. The scale of this stuff, and to able to hit, a really nice cover for St. Andrews or for Steve, the world's greatest dad, that concept, they're two different concepts, and somehow our designers have to do with those type of quests, right? So it's kind of limitless, but at the same time, if you want to go the limitless route, which is this one, you're going to pay a lot. And now we're in that space now where Jeff and I can not worry about blowing up the business because we've undersold or underquoted. We've been around long enough to, we ate Mr. Noodles for a bunch of years and then moved up to wieners and hamburgers. And now we're eating the odd steak. But that's because we've had, the blood, sweat, and tears and taking it on the head, and you get that point. But yeah, I mean, everything comes at a cost. So now we've got, in terms of the conversation always comes back to price with us, and it's like, okay, you look at our competitors who you are going to compare the price with. First question that I'll usually ask, and it's on social media, and we don't usually back down from this because it is a 1 + 1 = 2. So it's like, what has your head cover company done with your local amateur association? What have they done to grow golf just in general? Like, have you ever asked that question? Have you ever researched where the product is made? Is it made in North America, or is it an overseas product? They're not going to know that. We know what it is because we can tell by pricing, and we can look at the materials they choose. And so once you get larger, you're bringing on more labor, you're taking on more, paybacks to the local community, and then there's Facebook advertising, Google ads, all that stuff. How do you find us? Well, you have to pay for that. Guerrilla marketing only gets you so far. That's how all the prices they go up, but so does our quality, and so does our design capabilities. So
Mark Zuckerberg is laughing right now.
Here's the thing though. Like, I'm gonna go back to my original covers, and this was my original hybrid cover. I got these with my kids on them, and my dad's driver cover about the same time, with all of his grandkids' names on it. And I could put these covers in my bag tomorrow, and they still look just as good as day one. And this was 2016 timeframe, because that's when Luke was born, my youngest. And when you think about the other products that are out there, and the other covers that are out there, they're not in the same condition that yours are, and that's what I don't think people quite grasp. But let me ask you, like, if someone were to try and do a custom cover, and I know we've talked a little bit about this, versus buying. Oh, there's your Penn State. There's your Penn State. Right,
I need my Penn State helmet. Like, if you're going to Ohio State, I got to represent my Nittany Lions. So.
If someone's going to make a custom cover versus if someone's going to break if someone's going to order one off of your website, what's the lead time for something like that, a custom versus just a stock cover off your website? What are we looking at as far as lead time for people?
We try and fulfill, we one of the things that's hard is when you, so I'll say the hard part is stocking everything that's on the site, because, you make one style and there's driver fairway hybrid, mallet, blade, alignment stick, yardage book, scorecard, and you multiply that by 200 styles. There's a lot on there, and you don't want stuff to get damaged or so generally speaking, we try and deliver on the site within 2 weeks, probably, and when we're busy, it's 2 to 4 weeks. We're going to have a program which I'm really excited to be putting out there soon, sooner than later, where we're going to have some in-stock stuff that you can buy and it'll ship within 2 days. Some of our best sellers. So we're just in the kind of process of identifying what those best sellers are and which ones we want to continue with for 23 into 24. Custom is different. You're 5 to 6 weeks. Well, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks is probably generally what we say. And that's from final design approval. So when we talk about 20 pieces being put together, and we didn't talk about the amount of time it takes to create those files, because each one of them, it has to be cut and then sewn. A file has to be made to be able to say, well, this one pieces together here, like we'll just go with the baseball glove cover. If this is our new design, and we've made it with 3 panels, but sometimes a cover may need 6 panels plus 10 different pieces put on top to make it look like, a duck face on there. Right. And then they want, Luke and Jackson, done on the cuff, right? In under here and between the stitch lines. And we're like, well, that can't be done, sir. And they are relentless in the ask. I'm just kidding, Steve.
I've
is
never been relentless with you guys. Come on now.
No,
but no, I get it. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah. So, but generally, quick answer: 2 to 4 weeks and 4 to 6 weeks.
So let me ask, and I've done this before, but I want you guys to talk about it on here tonight. So like this cover, and we talked about it earlier. This was one of your stock covers that had the bear on it. It's got the California bear. It had the palm trees. It was kind of a California one. I kind of designed it to the nod to TPC Sawgrass and the palm trees at Sawgrass. If someone were to go on your website, can they take one of your covers, make it a custom cover for themselves? And then what does that process look like?
Looks like that.
That was fast work, Greg. I mean,
I literally took one of your head covers and just did some editing to it.
No, doodling in the background. I like it. I was waiting for like a Paterno arched over the back there.
So I actually was going to put "We Are" on there, but I'm like, no, I need to leave it classy and just with the iconic helmet. Like, it's not about Paterno; it's
Statement
about the
piece.
university.
Totally.
What it's about.
That was kind of a dig, anyways.
Work. I think we may be overpaying.
It was a good dig.
That was amazing work.
Yeah, it was amazing work. Yeah,
I try.
But no, Jeff, what is Jeff or Todd? What does that process look like to design? Like, can you go on your website and you have some amazing covers already on your website? Can somebody make a custom cover off of what you have and kind of design their own idea off your own covers on their website? On your website.
I'll let Todd go on this one.
I just saw a comment about inside the ropes. Blah, blah, blah.
I had to put that up there because he mentions that he's inside the ropes at the PGA or at the Sawgrass every year. So you've dealt with Steve before, Todd. So
slight modifications are great because that means we already have some files kind of in the archives. So that would be a less expensive process, and certainly like our designers love a color flip and maybe a change of adding a second palm tree or whatever that might be. So that will make an impact on how much you pay, because as soon as you make a change to a cover, it automatically moves into a custom lane. Personalizing is one thing, customizing is different, and so that's a major difference between a lot of our competitors. Is people think that personalization is customization when personalization is an embroidery file with your name on it, and it shows ownership. But customization is something that, like say a Tyson Lamb with putters, you ask that guy to make a snow cone out of metal, he'll figure it out. That's not personal. He's not hand stamping your initials on a putter. He's creating a snow cone out of metal. So there's a huge difference, and so there's an education piece that the Lamb fans, they're already well aware of, and they're okay with that price point. And people that know our brand understand that we're very transparent. Like, there's a second shift going on here. It's 10:24 here in Halifax. That's where we're at. There's 2 shifts now, and it is handmade and it takes time. And so for us to juggle the production of our
I was gonna put the same thing, Steve. I'm sorry.
we actually have a very hard and fast.
I don't want iron covers.
I was going to ask this question late in the show here, and I was going to ask the iron cover question, but that's a whole nother story.
That's a rabbit hole, and we don't have to go down it because it's a really easy answer. And until we sell the company, they will never actually ever be made.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
You can buy those little silicone ones, and they are perfect for people who love iron covers.
They work great.
Eric loves iron covers, so
it's hard to beat that.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's only one fair, acceptable answer for iron covers, and that's if you're traveling.
No.
If you're traveling
oh my God.
Use a towel. 3 against 1, Steve.
Yeah,
No.
I will bring
Stop
free
trying to
towels
make
and
iron covers
interweave
cool.
them.
Steve, are you actually? Is that sarcasm, or are you holding that? Is that?
Oh, he
you know
believes
what?
that. He brings that up all the time.
Yeah, but again,
He is a
again-
closet iron cover fan. He is.
again, as someone who has custom irons that have Bagger Vance quotes on them, I do not want them to get damaged on a plane. That's my 2 cents.
Inside
I
the
thought
room.
it was because you were fearful that as you're sleeping on the plane, you may hear your clubs rattling.
No, that I could give 2 shits if my clubs rattle.
That would be the only explanation I could accept.
Hmm.
Is that would interfere with your sleep pattern on the plane
on the plane.
during turbulence.
He's trying to normalize iron covers, and
Yeah,
I'm not.
don't.
I will
nobody,
never normalize
just
iron
nobody
Never.
in here
Never.
appreciates
That's
it.
the right
Not-
answer,
There's not
Eric.
one
Never.
person.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. So
Wow.
switching gears here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've shown it a few times. So can you pull up that baseball glove? Because that is a
One more time.
Yeah, there we go. Because that is an amazing, amazing head cover that I just think no one else does this.
No.
So, like, we won't mention that team from the Massachusetts. We'll mention the Yankees, but in the States, America's pastime, baseball. We all play baseball. We all play golf. And, oh, man, can you just here? I'm going to send you my address. Just put one of those in a box for me and send them to me because those are amazing head covers. And it brings a pastime. We're the golfing dads here. And playing catch with your dad is a pastime. And to make that a head cover, like playing golf with my dad is a pastime. And to bring those two things together is unbelievable. Like,
and I'm going to say this, and sorry, Greg, to cut you off, but like, and Todd and Jeff know this, we have all played golf in the group with our dads. Like,
Right. Yeah.
my dad Mike and your dad Phil, we've all been in a group together. We've all gone out and played golf together. It's always a good time. Like, we always have some good laughs.
And Steve, you've played with my dad, like,
right, yeah,
at one of your favorite courses in the world. So
my favorite course in the world. And, and your dad is way cooler to play golf with than you are. So I'm just going to say that.
That's awesome. So I'm not gonna deny that. I'm so awesome. It's because of him and my mom. I'm gonna give my mom some credit there too. But like that head cover is, you take an iconic thing. I will also say, I was a hockey goalie. I'll take a goalie mitt head cover as well. But
I don't know if you can see this right here, but the middle is already so Sting, the gentleman on our team who I was talking about earlier, who had designed the samurai cover, he came up with this pattern for this. And the middle part here, he added a little bit of oil just to start giving it that worn look. And that's what this leather does. Yeah, can you see that? Can you notice that?
That's an unbelievable. Like it's that mitt, like where the ball hits it, and
yes, that's it.
Oh.
So he actually started polishing that one with a little bit of oil. It's just and he actually may be the first one here. So I don't know if you can see that on there. One sec. Can you see my name etched in there?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, because you see those major league players that have their glove, that have their name etched in there. Like, to have something custom that we've been talking about with your name etched in there, like, incredible. You guys are doing stuff like ahead of the game. Like,
so you'll see.
Cheers to that. Like that's
thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of people that will come and if
you build it, they will come.
They will come and they'll imitate, and it's fun. And we they always say it's the most sincere form of flattery, and we'll take it. But this one we're releasing this one during the All-Star break.
Awesome. And
we're gonna run, I think it's 6 days, I think, of they're gonna retail for around $1.95.
That's a steal at $1.95.
$1.95, and we're gonna throw in the free personalization, so you can have up to 12 characters on there. So that'll be our kind of like
golfing dad's logo.
We could do that.
I'm
We
just
could do
kidding. I'm just kidding.
And
I need to hold up. Hey Todd, is that Mulligan Light that you're drinking there?
No, we actually have Mulligan Light has been sold out, and yeah.
Oh,
$2 billion. Someone bought that from us. They just said
Wow.
we had to sell out on that one.
I feel like it's like Mini-Me.
$1 billion.
But I will say, guys, like your samurai head cover is cool, and believe me, awesome. But the baseball mitt, you knocked that out of the park.
You know, we
there you go.
The Malvin covers. Are we allowed to show anything of those?
not yet, but there is a release coming.
Okay.
Too bad because
Right
the samplers are sitting right there.
You
around
let
the
us
US
know.
Open.
You are allowed on this show anytime. We would be happy to have you release stuff on this show.
Man, they're just sitting like inches away.
Oh
man,
I feel Todd's gonna like reach over and like just give you the.
He wants to
corner
so
of it.
bad. I don't know if the guys
Show us a little bit.
Show them bottom end.
There you go.
I'll be honest with you. As we're sitting here, I'm surprised I haven't gotten a text message. It's been like, "Hey, tease."
Yeah.
Just give a tease on there like this.
Yeah.
You guys make such amazing head covers. Like,
all right.
Well, and the work you do with Stephen Malbon and the stuff you do with Malbon is always.
Yeah,
that's
gone.
Yeah, that's pretty dirty. I already know.
I'm
gonna go upside down with this one.
Oh, come on, man, that's awesome.
Colorway. One last one.
This is perfect.
Yeah. So just enough.
Whew.
Fire.
Just enough. Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun with these guys, and hey, we're this is a brand that found us. Oh, there you go. Wants to dance some bears. Guy would get them fast because we're gonna go lightning fast on Malbon's site. So yeah, but there's been a lot of fun working with them. They're I'd say pretty hot brand at the moment. Pretty hot. We do have another release coming up. That's cool. It's going to be ultra limited for year one with Sperry Topsider.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really cool. So we're going to be using the official Sperry leather. And awesome. Yeah, it is really cool. So some fun. There's some fun stuff in the future.
You've done some of this fun stuff. Like you made a glove, and like it had some amazing following on like Instagram and things like that. So like from that perspective, like when you make something this successful, and have this following that's not just Steve, like what is that like?
I mean, that's probably one of the more fun things is like our newsletter now and the connectivity that we get. Zuckerberg and Facebook ads and Google, whoever that is, like they have nothing compared to the newsletter. And it's because of the connectivity, because they see, we don't want to use the term authentic because as soon as you deem yourselves authentic, you have automatically de-authenticized yourself. In our opinion, and Ralph Dunning would say the same thing. He was one of our mentors and has helped us along. And he's like, man, he was one of the first guys that came over to our booth when we went to Vegas that first year. And he was like, you fucking guys, man, I don't know how you did it. You fucking did it, man. And I was like, who is this animal? Like he's just dropping F-bombs like a madman. And it was Dan Keogh of Belding. He's like, you know who that guy is? And I was like, no. He's like, that's Ralph Dunning, Dunning Golf. And I was like, what? He goes, man, if he asks you to go over to his booth, don't worry about me, man. Get over there. And so what it did though is it spoke to like what we've always done. Like for us, it's just an extension of how we like to live our life. Like we're gonna go over, we're gonna play golf. If we're in your town, we'll go tee it up in a Muni course. We'll play wherever.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. And that's never changed, like, so all like our Instagram is an extension of kind of an back, room insight to just kind of what we stand for. And we don't have to stand on a really loud soapbox and preach, because we're just going to go out and live it. And you're either going to like it or you're not. And then it doesn't really matter. Like, we're going to continue to do it. We're not going to change because somebody told us, that seems a little odd, or you're going to piss somebody off. It's like, if they're getting pissed off at what we're doing, then they're probably not real golfers.
Yeah, but then you're doing it right. So I'm going to jump in here before Steve asks this question, because Steve asks this question all the time. Are you guys going to be at the merchandise show this year?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Because we're going to be there. If you guys have a booth, we're trying to be there. We're going to be live.
You know what I think we need to do? And I'm going to say this.
We need to play golf with them while we're down there?
No, that's going to happen. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
We need to do our podcast from their booth.
No. I'm going to raise it up a notch, Steve. And I'm bringing this in here because I talked to Steve before we were on the show, and I have seen your new storefront that you have. And I'm going to go online and book a simulator like in there right now.
Oh,
we need to go up to Halifax and play up there in their storefront, because that looks like the funnest place for golf on the planet. Like,
I just did a lesson in there tonight.
Nice.
The only person that I know that has that's going to go there right now anytime soon is our buddy Steve is going to be up there on a cruise in Halifax, and he told his wife that his shore excursion is they're going to Dormie. So I'm kind of jealous. And Todd and Jeff know Steve, because Steve has this cover on his bag. This is actually Steve's cover. And he has this cover on his bag. And he also has this cover on his bag. So, Steve is super excited about going up there. Super excited about that. Now, let me ask you guys, I got a couple of questions before we break tonight, but and
we want to keep you guys on for our last segment too. So
stick
around.
Yeah, you guys have made some cool covers, and I don't know that you've ever made a bad cover, but like, I'm a big fan of the Stream Song Alligator, and I'm not even a Gator fan, and I like the Stream Song Alligator. Between that, you did one for a guy, Paul Casey, the American Express black cover was a cool cover you guys did. And you've done some really amazing covers. Let me ask both of you, what's your favorite cover you guys have ever done?
I probably have one, Todd. You know yours.
I'm sorry. I had to plug that. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's one for me that only because I played a lot of ball, and this one, because of the authenticity of where it came from and what it actually stood for, was Nick Swisher's World Series glove. We had some people are going to be like, you guys actually tore a World Series glove apart. And I was like, yes, we did. And we made covers out of those. So imagine what that would mean as an ball player now that, you can take that set of head covers, and every time you go up to the tee, you're going to have one of the best stories out of anybody in that foursome, because it's going to be tough to beat a World Series glove turned into a head cover. So that one there, that it holds very, it's very high in my mind.
Where did Nick Swisher win the World Series with again? What team? What team was that, Steve?
Wow.
Steve, I'm going to ask you that. Where did he win the World Series?
Yeah, I know. And
where?
I'm going
Where?
to comment with the Kevin Millar Dormie Sox jersey is one of my favorites. And
touche.
They did a Red Sox jersey for Kevin Millar that was awesome. And
wow, well played. Well played.
Funny enough,
I like
and
that
I'm going to say
deflection.
this because Jeff knows this. I was caddying inside the ropes at the LPGA.
What?
When Millar got this cover, and Millar and I sat there and talked about it. So, because I told him that I knew these guys, so he and I sat there and talked about it. So, I will comment that I will take Millar's cover over Nick Swisher's. Sorry. I'll take Millar's cover for the win.
What?
may-
Come on, man.
Unreal.
I don't know which one's an over the top there. Did he just go like that? Was that an? I don't know.
Come on, man.
I mean, a World Series win is a World Series win,
That's right.
but he's
Um,
also talking to the man himself. So
yeah.
not Peter Millar.
Not Peter Millar. No, that's Kevin Millar. And then and I can show a couple of these things off here. I've shown my alignment stick cover, and I've got my valuables pouch here. I
Ooh,
love this.
look at that thing. That's
Another
cool.
baseball. Another baseball.
There's another baseball one.
A lot of baseball teams are rolling around here tonight.
A lot of baseball
They
teams
really
are.
Fun fact, Steve. Did you know Todd played semi-pro ball?
I did not know that.
Down in New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Was it the Toros?
It was Waikato.
Waikato.
Waikato
Nice.
was the down in New Zealand, and it played for Eastern Suburbs. It was a rugby, soccer, and they also had a fast pitch, sector. I mean, it was wild down there. It was just absolutely wild. So fun.
18 years old. 18 or 19? Were you 19?
18.
Nice.
18.
Yeah.
18, left home. Somehow he convinced our parents to let him go to New Zealand with a buddy of his.
Tristan.
And I'm gonna ask this question. I'm just gonna ask this question because I know you and I can ask you this question. How did you not marry a chick from New Zealand, Bishop?
I thought you were going to ask me how to graduate from high school. That's where I thought you were heading to.
Wait, I'm going to ask, can we see the haka, like the All Blacks haka? Because I've won a hula competition before. There you go.
I have too.
I worked the Polynesian Resort at Disney, and like I've been taught the hula from actual like
Nice.
Polynesian culture. So
I tell you what, they are
all for
they
the
are
New
amazing.
Zealand.
They are amazing, super generous, super hospitable, and we lived with a Maori family, and their last name was Tuhoro. There was 4 brothers.
Oh, I knew there was a Toro in there. Toro. That's
Yeah, it was a Tuhoro family, and there was 4 of them, and their nickname in town was the 4 Horos.
Nice.
So they went around after, like, we'd be out drinking with them. The next thing you know, one of them's in a brawl over in the side there, and you just see bodies getting thrown left, right, and center. They were all like 250 pounds, just beasts.
Two of the best people on the planet are Polynesian folk and Irish folk. Those are the 2 nicest people that you will ever meet on this planet, that will bring you into their home. And also, like you said, they'll defend you to the death.
Yeah, to the death. Oh, yeah.
But so let's talk about, besides head covers, what else do you guys make? I know you guys have some cool stuff out there. I've seen it. And why don't you share? Todd, you're looking at one of them. You're grabbing for it right now. Greg, that wallet doesn't even come close to what he's about.
I know it doesn't, but this wallet is legit. Like, that's legit right there.
Man. Oh, the coolers. Yeah, those are new.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You know what? There's a duffel over on the floor on the other side of the table there, Todd. On the other side.
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah. We do toiletry bags and passport holders and lanyards and portfolios and scorecard holders and yardage book holders, duffels. There's a nice duffel that we made. That one had a custom print on it for this place called Gaza Ranch out in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Really swag spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the one that has the tree bar?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Greg, we need to go there and do our podcast from the bar. We need to do our podcast from the tree bar.
If you if you go there, let me know. I'd like to go as well.
Oh,
Okay.
I think we need to bring you guys on for that, because like with those products, your products just, they stand out by themselves, and they just like it's unbelievable.
This is my driver cover right now. It's so good because it matches my putter cover dropping bombs.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
If only he
yeah,
could actually
so the
do what those
prototype
putter
of the new-
covers
the new
say.
design,
Fair.
the black and white ones back there sitting in the golf bag.
What's
What?
that?
Do you want me to show the prototype of the new canister ones?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. We got a prototype division now that Charlie and Dan in prototype are just are slaying it.
Bradley,
And we have-
100%. This is true.
Okay, hold on a second.
So we were like, you know what, guys, we are a head cover company, and we have to be thinking ahead and coming up with new styles and having people a choice. So Todd's showing one there. We got, the barrel cover, but we have some
hold up. Jeff, hold that one up again, because I'm an Indy. That's an Indy 500, like checkered flag right there. That is back home again in Indiana. That's sweet.
We got a slightly different version, which Todd's holding there, of a barrel cover. We have an OEM style cover coming, like of the the new styles that they all started doing, but we made one in leather with our own spin on it, and then we have 2 or 3 more that are in the works right now. So you don't have to have the classic, this style cover, 2 pieces put together like this. We're going to have different panels. We're going to have the barrels, variations of the barrel, lots of different sizes and shapes, and have a lot of fun. And we're going to be head cover. We're going to go to a head cover master designation.
I'm just gonna warn you guys, we're about to take this show to the next level because Dave is out of his meeting and is about to join us. So Dave, welcome.
Oh! I removed him. Sorry, there we go.
I'm back.
Dave from the Iowa State Fair meeting is now back in.
So yeah, take it deep in Iowa State Fair meetings, huh?
Yeah.
It's
I'll be back in just a second.
He's Dave's playing dad tonight. His wife said his wife's working. So guys, couple more questions before we wrap up the show.
4-0 Las Vegas Knights.
4-0 Vegas.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Let's go Knights. As someone who lives in Florida, I'm actually rooting for Vegas as a Bruins fan. I don't want to see the team that knocked the Bruins out win. So, you guys have done
power move.
Oh, what's Dave getting? Dave, what'd you get there? What'd you pull up? Saz? Is that Saz? Oh, you got Saz.
Jeez, I might have to describe.
Should I grab something different?
No, you're good. You guys have done some really cool things. And for everyone else to know, and Todd, and you may have seen my text message. Jeff and I were texting, and that'll be our last thing before we wrap. If someone wants to just become Dormie Coolness, and that's what I call it. And Dave, I'll be honest, Todd, as we're sitting here, Dave's the only one on our podcast that doesn't have a Dormie cover and needs one because he's anti. He hasn't got. Oh dear Lord.
Jeff, Todd, I'm currently rocking one of these head covers.
Oh man.
Yeah,
okay.
he needs,
oh jeez.
Yeah, we need to get.
My eyes were just burning there, but it wasn't from the tequila.
No. If someone is wanting to find you guys, where can they find you guys? And I know we're running your website across the bottom, and how does somebody reach out to you guys and get a hold of trying to make their own Dormie cover?
I mean, the website's definitely a place to go, and there's an actual box where you can submit your request for the custom team to start right through the website, and then we've got somebody on our internal team that answers all those emails. And it's pretty streamlined now. Very quick.
Awesome. And I know we just texted about this, and Greg and Dave, you don't know this yet, but obviously being the golfing dads, our biggest giveaway is going to be our Father's Day giveaway. Not that one. We don't need that one.
That one is
I'm still
awesome.
trying to promote my alma mater. Come on.
We're going to add, I know we've got a wedge from Wedge FX that may or may not have our logo and the US Open logo on it. We're going to get, I've got a couple other things in line, and tonight, thank you, Jeff, for your text message. We've got one of the Dormie Workshop US Open head covers that we're going to add into our Father's Day giveaway. So Dave, you
That's
can't
awesome.
win that. Sorry, Dave, you can't win that.
I think Dave should win it if he picks the winner of the US
He's the
Open.
only guy
He's
that
picked 3 winners this year.
How can a
three-
custom FX guy have a stealth cover on there?
Because I won the stealth driver earlier this year in a tailor-made giveaway.
Yep.
Yeah, that
happened.
So Jeff,
Though I don't have custom wedges, so I can't speak.
That's Lee from Wedge FX, and we can talk about that. But Dave is the one that also won, Jeff. He won our tickets to the Masters this year, so he's the reason I go to the Masters.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's where Dave's head cover needs to go.
Yes.
You can look at so many gas or garbage cans around the shop here. They're filled with OEMs. I didn't even plant these. I saw this when I walked into the room, and I was like, "Oh, another one just died."
Hey Jeff, I'll put you and Dave in a text in an email group tomorrow, and we'll fix his lack of Dormie cover tomorrow. Okay.
I'm just saying, Dave wants this one. Just putting it up there again. Dave's from Pennsylvania as well, so
yeah.
No. I think that it's a.
Ooh, I like this idea.
The Golfing Dads Tavern in 2024 in Pinehurst? Yes.
No, the US Open in Pinehurst in 2024. There we go.
With the Golfing Dads Tavern.
That's true.
I mean, I feel like we need to be there, and you know who needs to be our co-host that week? We need to have Dormie Workshop as our co-host that week in Pinehurst.
Any week they want to come on.
Any week.
What do you think? Hey, Todd and Jeff, you think we could do this from the Deuce in Pinehurst?
Hey, no problem.
No problem. Okay. Or could we do it behind the 18th green at Tobacco Road?
Trinity Bar at Gaza Ranch. I mean, you got
yeah. There's places we could all
patio behind Pebble Beach on 18.
Yes, please.
Time and place. Just name it. We'll be there.
I want to give a shout out. Here's Mike from World Amateur Golf Championships. Best head covers, hands down. He knows what he's talking about.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, Dave, I got to ask you this question because you missed this for the night. Over under, Dave, on how many times Steve had mentioned he's been under the ropes at the Players Championship in this podcast tonight.
16.
All right, you're good. That's good. It's about that. So you're right.
He actually made it inside the ropes caddying, which was they let him caddy inside the ropes, which I thought was a feat as well.
I don't think they let him caddy. I think he just stole someone's bag.
They didn't make him walk outside the ropes and caddy.
And Jeff, I'm going to be honest with you. They let you caddy inside the ropes too, because at one point you used to caddy on the LPGA tour. So let's just call it.
Yeah, but Jeff's a reputable caddy. You just stole someone's bag and carried it, and we're like, it was like that scene in Happy Gilmore where he picks up the bag and runs with it and pops them. He's like, "Hey, that's mine." That's what you did, Steve.
Hey, I'm going to just show my favorite cover that they've ever done because I'm a pimento cheese guy. There's that cover. That's still my favorite.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Look at the size of that slice of bread. Did they make them that big there?
They do.
Steve
actually speak from experience.
Yeah, but Steve
I'm going to
Slice
go
is
under
that
the
big
ropes
too.
there.
And Dave, you're supposed to say, "You're welcome, Steve."
Yeah.
That's damn
well,
right.
because Steve Slice is that big.
I don't know why we let Steve come on this trip with us when we went to the Masters.
Have we talked about this?
There you go, Todd. That's a good topic to bring up.
Yeah,
it is. It's relevant. You got to be really
Alright,
quick
so-
nowadays.
And
I want to bring.
Go
I want. Can you guys stay on for a little bit? I want to go to the smack of the week and then have our last call topic. Which our last call topic is going to be people being rude on the golf course, and I have a story to tell for that one. And I think you guys will be all right with that one. And can
I think we're
contribute.
committed at this point.
That's true.
Yeah.
You've been on long enough. So
Yeah.
all right, Steve, here you go.
So for the first smack
We got
of the week,
stupid
Right.
graphics on here. I make
There's
fun.
trouble over there. Oh!
Wow.
I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, the only person I know that could hit that house would be Dave. And I'm just saying.
Hold
that.
on. I'm just saying that needs to be a Dormie head cover of that house with all the dents in the side of it. There's a Dormie
I've
head
never
cover
seen
for you.
anything like that.
And then I've got one more video that's kind of in the same idea for the smack of the week, and that is this one.
This is pretty impressive right here.
Mm.
So I'm just going to say, at that point, do you walk into the pro shop and say, hey, I got to hit my second shot here. What's the course record?
Can I play this as it lies?
Exactly. Like,
No.
Nobody
'Cause
would
my
believe
my
that he
answer
could
if
have
I'm in
hit
the
that
pro
shot.
shop. My answer if I'm in the pro shop is get in your car and go home.
Well, they say all the golf courses have that classic line that you're responsible for your own ball, and any damage done, you're responsible for. Can we all agree that nobody intends to hit a shitty shot? So therefore, in and of itself, it's impossible to be responsible for your own ball.
There you
Because
go.
you want to nail
Like,
the clubhouse on a
I didn't put the clubhouse at a 90-degree angle from the first tee. They just
my
happened
fault, man.
where to be.
dumb idea was to put the clubhouse right next to the first tee. Come on.
Now, if
Right.
the clubhouse was in the middle of the fairway, then I know I probably could be responsible for that shot because that's where I intended the ball to go. Anything outside the fairway, that's not my fault. It's not my problem.
There you go.
Todd Todd needs
What's
to
a
be your
fairway?
attorney. Hey, Dave, Todd needs to be your attorney anytime you hit a bad shot.
Morgan and Morgan for the people.
Morgan,
Holy. Wow.
For the people.
So funny enough, we also have Morgan and Morgan. He is represented here in Indiana as well. I left Florida and he's still here in Indiana.
Wow.
Yep. He's here in Iowa.
His creepy
Right.
Santa billboards are the ones that get me.
Yeah.
All right, let's go
The same
to
dude
let's
for
go to
20 years.
let's go to last Greg. Let's go to last call and let's talk about what happened to me yesterday.
What? So that is true. What happened to you yesterday, and we're going to get into this in last call, is we talked last week about like people complaining about public courses and things like that and slow play. But last week was more about someone just complaining about like just playing golf. But there are truly rude people on the golf course. There are people that just like, I'm going to say the first thing that's on here is people that think they're more important than anyone else on that golf course.
Correct.
They don't have that Canadian niceness to them. So I want to say with our friends from the north up here, and Steve, you can talk about this. And I had this a few weeks ago as well. People who are just like, you know what time's your tee time? Oh, mine's now. Like, well, it's actually my tee time. But Steve, go ahead and talk about Highlands Goat Ranch.
So I played a
There's a
course
cat.
yesterday called Highlands Reserve. Jeff, that was awesome, by the way. And we're on the putting green. There's 3 groups on the putting green, and the starters. We're the 9:16 tee time. Just to let you know, where are we sit. Starter says, "Hey, who's my 9:08?" And these guys raise their hand. They're like, we're 908. And we're like, okay, cool. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're after them because 8-minute intervals is about right in Florida, right? You guys lived here at what point? Like, and this other guy goes, oh, we're the group after them. And I was like, what time's your tee time? As I'm sitting there hitting putts. And the guy's like, oh, we're like 9:10. And I said, I don't know a course in this country that's doing tee time intervals 2 minutes apart. Oh, no, we're the group after them. We're going after them. And I was like, well, we're 9:16. No, we're 9:10 or 9:12. And I was like, still not appropriate. It's 8-minute intervals on tee times. And the guy goes over and talks to the starter, and all of a sudden they're going to the tee box now.
Inside job.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Inside the ropes.
what in the thanks, Todd.
Todd and Jeff, you were my new favorite people, so I'm just saying that. And we need a head cover that says "inside the ropes." I'm just
100%. Yeah.
It has to say hashtag inside the ropes because that's Steve's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
As well, so
Yeah.
And so, and Todd and Jeff know who I'm playing with. So I'm with Steve yesterday, right, Cox? And
Ooh,
Steve
I gotta
goes
keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. And Steve goes over to talk to the starter. And I go into the pro shop to talk to the guy in the pro shop. And I'm like, let me explain a few things to you here. And I'm confused on this. And he's like, no, you guys should be next. Well, Steve goes over and talks to the starter. The starter goes over and tells the guys, you're not next. It's actually the other guys that are next. And then we get to the first tee, and they're like blocking us from getting to the first tee. And they're like,
wow.
oh, you guys can go around, but there's a tree. There's like trees blocking the way. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Like,
Wow.
and so my problem is that we sit here and play these courses. We go out and play. And I don't want to blame the golf course because this wasn't the golf course fault. This was the rude player's fault. Like, how many times have we gone out there and had somebody that's just been an absolute, let's call it what it is, jackass, that's been on the golf course and
yup.
It needs a lanyard. But like, how many times have we all been out there with people that were just like, why are you out here? And there's no reason to be this much of a jerk.
It goes back to Sheldon Surrey. Just it's a lost art of being a nice person.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, Jeff and Todd, I'm going to ask you this question. When you're out on the golf course, and we've all been there with, like, what are the people that, like you say, that gets you frustrated out there? Like, we've talked about slow play and things like that. Like, what are the things that people can control? Like, if you're a bad golfer, I get that. That's fine. Be a bad golfer. You're still playing golf. But don't be a dick. So, like, what are the things that you guys see sometimes on the golf course that you think just get you frustrated out there and like mess up your game?
Well, guys that have to fluff their lies full time. I don't know where this started from.
Patrick Reed. Sorry, I had to say it.
Just play the ball down. Like it really. I know it's nice to hit off AstroTurf and it'd be nice to play Augusta fairways all the time, but the way our dad brought us up, like, you just don't touch the ball. Like, you just don't touch the ball. And whether there's an online, I can't remember who it was. They were complaining about a ball being up against a root, and like, this is like 40 yards left of center, and they're like, this is the dumbest rule in golf. Like, just move it from the root. It's like, well,
I'm gonna break my club. I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, but that's fine. The context could be you're just out playing with a beginner or your girlfriend. So yeah, you're gonna just move the ball and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're playing for money or you're playing for an actual handicap, so that you have a proper handicap and that actually showcases your true abilities, well, you're not gonna be moving the ball from a root. And I don't know how we've gotten so far away from that. You have to roll the ball on every shot because now it's just like you feel like the ball's sitting down like a half a millimeter, so you need to fluff it up a little bit. It's like, just play the damn ball down. How have we gotten away from that? I did that. That's one of the things that drives me crazy.
And that's true. Like, when you're out there, like, play it as it lies. Like, I get it if you have a local rule or you're in a tournament where it's like it's been pouring the day before and you're going to lift clean in place. But if you're not, play it as it lies. So that's a great point there. I mean, I'm going to put up this here because Eric and I were playing with our buddy Elliot, and we were playing on this course here in Indiana. And again, my buddy Elliot hit a ball over on the 18th from the first tee. And this other guy came up to him like, "That's my ball. That's my ball." And was just yelling at him where he hit it nowhere near him. He was just like, he was adamant. He's like, "Well, that has my mark and everything on it." And nope, that guy would not let him take his ball and was just like, "Nope, I'm playing it from there because that gives me a great shot into 18, even though our buddy hit a terrible shot off of 1. So, but yeah, play it as it lies.
Yeah, and I would say hitting in to people when you know the course is jammed. Like, I don't want to get hit with a golf ball, and I don't know anybody that does. So, if you know it's a slow day, just chill the fuck out. Like,
Well,
nobody.
And I put that on our list. I said, if you hit into someone by mistake, also yell 4.
Totally.
Like, don't be like, if you yell 4, that's fine. But if you're hitting into me to be a dick, like, that's different. Like, don't be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a funny story that I got to tell you. We were down playing in Daytona, the Muni course there, and we played there a lot. I mean, we lived in Daytona for a while, and this guy, we were on the 9th hole, and it was, it's a busy day. It was just, midwinter, beautiful, 80-degree day outside. It was packed. Course is packed. And this guy comes charging by us on the 9th hole, spins around, and Todd doesn't know this, but they rerouted the course. So 10 is no longer on the other side of the turn house there, Todd. It's actually what used to be 17. So I kind of like double took because that guy that had ridden by us was on what I thought was the 17 tee box, but I saw the 10 sign there. Anyways, I go up, I'm on the 10th, and he's there and he has it pegged, and so force him out in front, middle of the fairway, and gotta wait. And I'm like, we're like, "Where did you come from?" And he's like, "I'm jumping ahead." And he goes, "You got a problem with that?" And we're like, "Yeah, we do. We got a big problem with that." And so we, a little back and forth, blah blah blah. And he goes, Why don't you read the scorecard, buddy?" Saying to us, he goes, "You let faster players play through." And it was like the audacity of this guy to come up here with a neon golf ball, and try and play through us with his girlfriend in the car. I just couldn't believe it. Anyway,
he quoted like scoreboard to you of like, read the scorecard.
Read the scorecard. Let faster players play through.
Jeff, I gotta ask this question because, like Steve, did he have iron covers? Because this seems like a guy who would have iron covers.
They were neon iron covers.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I'm not gonna go there, but I was gonna go there. And I'm not gonna go there.
I watched a guy in a group in front of us yesterday that literally had a 4-foot putt from above the hole, missed it, had like a 6-inch tap in, and totally put a coin on it.
Was it? No, not gonna go there either.
They're playing for money. There was a lot of money on the line, and
a lot of money on the line.
Yeah. But the worst thing I hate about on the golf course is getting run over by a golf cart.
That's never happened, Dave.
Wow.
It's never happened.
That happened a lot, Dave?
You never got. We were on a golf course in Hilton Head when Dave and I both lived in Hilton Head, and I think it was Eagles Point out in Hilton Head.
It was Eagles Point.
It was. And we were goofing around and stuff like that. And Dave went to like do something. I moved the cart and I accidentally ran him over. And this guy literally that looks like he would play at that Highlands Ranch where Steve was playing last week with no shirt on, straw hat on, comes out and is like, "You guys okay? You need a Powerade?" Like just randomly comes out with that. We're like, no, we're good.
We're good.
I ran him over by mistake. So
the answer was we needed whiskey. Like we need whiskey is what you need. Is what you need
Yeah,
to say.
exactly. Is that Whistle Pig, Dave?
It is Whistle Pig. I switched it up.
I almost went with Whistle Pig tonight. So, which is Canadian whiskey sourced out of Vermont.
Yeah. Yes.
You went from Sass to Whistle Pig? All right.
Yeah.
No, guys. Well,
both in the Rye family.
I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. This was awesome, as amazing as I could have ever expected it to be. You guys always have a spot here. And I want to say thank you for the idea of the cover into our Father's Day gift guide. We will be posting everything that's included in that here shortly. But no, I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight, and it was as fun as I expected it to be.
Guys, sorry I missed the show.
Just going back to this one.
Before I go, I do have a bone to pick.
Oh shit!
Are you going to go under the ropes here? You going under the ropes?
I'm going over the ropes.
There you go, over the top.
Yeah. So I don't know who the editor is here, but the Golfing Dad's Tavern 6.5 Dormie Workshop.
That's Steve.
That was you know what? I will fix that. I will fix that.
I'm only messing, man. We had a great time.
The good old Workship.
We do have that.
The good old Dormie Workshop.
Steve, I do all of our Instagram like posts. I have their scrolling.
I literally
and you put up Workship.
Workship.
Come on, man.
It's the only way to avoid taxes. Truthfully,
that's our smack of the week next week. Is
Yeah.
Steve's spelling error this week. We already have our smack of a week for the U.S. Open.
I love it. I like that section of the smack of the week.
I do want to post this. No, we've all played this game for quite a long time. Yesterday, I was in the golf shop at the golf course. Could you imagine seeing that?
Wow.
Classic. A classic.
Hey, it's impossible to hit that hosel, right?
Like,
Greg, that's something like you would buy at Play It Again Sports.
Well, Steve and I talked about that. I saw the beryllium irons at the Ping Eye 2 berylliums. I almost bought it, Played Against Sports today.
That's
like,
that was the inspiration of the alien sand wedge.
Like, right. But tell me
the number one wedge in all of golf, apparently.
But tell me those at the time were not the best wedges of all time. Like, those were some pretty amazing wedges. So
before your Volkeys, before your Roger Clevelands, before all of those were the wedges that everyone saw.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. If you hit slices with your wedges, those were for you right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you could munch them like 10 yards further than any other wedge. Still playing. There you go, Eric.
Eric does, and Eric hits them well. So I play with Eric a lot, and he hits those well. So that tells you a lot about those irons.
All right. Hey, guys. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. This has been awesome. You guys are always welcome to come on, and I will touch base with you guys tomorrow.
Canadian Open this week. Enjoy.
Open.
And then the U.S. Open. We're going out to Cali.
Who did you guys say you're picking? Because you guys were tossing around a lot of names.
In the Canadian Open?
Yeah.
Dave, you picked Rory, right?
I picked Rory. I had first pick this week for the win.
I picked Sam.
You picked Sam Burns. And I went
Sam Burns.
And I took Matthew Fitzpatrick for the RBC sweep.
Which I am jealous of that. It's a good way to go.
So. That is a good. That is a good one. That didn't exist before.
No.
Pendrith.
Well, Pendrith. I'd already picked him 1 week, so I'm in my
Taylor. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
That's
Eric
cool.
says, "See you in Pinehurst." So
Yes, baby. We'll be there. We're
Baby.
coming in strong this year.
Yeah.
hey, cheers, you guys. I can't say this
Cheers.
enough. You guys make an amazing head cover. Keep up the good work. Thank you for being on the Tavern tonight. And this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll chat soon.
Night.
Cheers.
Night.
Cheers. And everybody, don't forget to tip your bartenders.
Have a good night.